What the fuck is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Bread and Circuses. I am your co-host, Caleb Salvatore.
And Nicholas Kohler here as well. I just want to say to the people that have been watching us and giving us comments on our Facebook and everything, and even like the YouTube and stuff, like, hey man, we really like the interactions like that for real. So
yeah, I especially like when you guys talk shit to me.
He's like a masochist. Is a masochist the one that enjoys causing it, or is that a sadist? I forget which one.
Sadist likes causing the pain. A masochist likes feeling it.
Okay, so yeah, Caleb's like an emotional masochist.
That's some weird psychological shit. Like, why are people into being hurt? That's my
I don't know, man. Maybe they weren't hurt enough as kids or something, or maybe they were hurt too much.
Too much. Yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
It's like some Sigmund Freud stuff, man.
That always goes back to wanting to fuck your mother. So when anything to do with Freud will always go back to wanting to have sex with your own mother.
And then for women, it's the penis envy.
Yeah, and if you're a man, if you're a woman, it's because you're jealous that you don't have a penis.
Yeah.
What everything is explained by. I mean,
I think even it's funny, like people say Sigmund Freud's like kind of like the beginning of like psychology and stuff, but like most like doctors and stuff in psychology don't like, they'll say Sigmund Freud's kind of like a bunch of bullshit. Like,
no, if anything, so Sigmund Freud is to psychology what Vanilla Ice is to white rappers. If anything, he's a setback to being considered legitimate. Like,
well, like before Sigmund Freud, I don't remember the history of it too much, but like I remember he's like he kind of did psychology, but it was more of like astrology for psychology. Like it's like stuff that can't be proven on the scientific basis. But like his psychoanalysis stuff is basically just him talking to people and forming his own like opinions about it. But
what do you mean astrology? You don't think that the stars can affect your behavior?
Dude, like everyone always says like astrology is like, it's obviously it's a pseudoscience, you can't prove it, but like I don't know, man. Maybe there is some truth to like how being born in like certain parts of like your young like developmental phases, like in certain times of the year, might have like a little something to do with it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's all like, so I think there is. So I think it's somewhat relevant because I think like with the moon, I think full moons definitely affect people.
Yeah, like almost like animals, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are animals, and the moon affects the tides, and we're like 80% water. So like, yeah, it makes sense that the moon would affect a human being.
Maybe just like in like slightly too, like,
yeah.
I mean, like maybe it might have something to do with kind of how your personality is.
Yeah.
Based on like, you're this age at like Christmas time, like your first Christmas or something, or like you're this many months old, like in the summertime, which is like, you know what I mean? Like babies, like I know this from raising a kid, man. Babies are like a 1 month difference when they're like less than a year old is like a big difference. So,
well, my only thing is like that I can see the argument for that, and I've seen it firsthand. People are nuts during a full moon. But I think it's like, no, you're not. You're just an asshole. It's nothing to do with you being born in the middle of November. People, it's just because I'm a Gemini. No, you're a piece of shit. Like, it's not. It's nothing to do. You're a cunt that was born in July. That's what you are.
do you know a lot of stuff about astrology? I know like very few things. I know they say
my horoscope. I know I am a Capricorn. That is all I know.
I know that what they say about Virgos is that they're usually like really quiet and reserved, and I know that, and they're like usually really empathetic. I know that they say about Scorpios is they're usually really like intense. I know that Geminis they usually say are like light split personality. They have like two faces, and I know they say Aries are really self-absorbed.
Yeah,
and that they say that Aries, or no, not Leos are really self-absorbed, and then Aries are really like defiant, like they're really like because my daughter's in Aries, and all the horoscopes about Aries always joke or like say that they're like the power strugglers and stuff, and we always joke around about that with our kids.
Yeah, I love when you see someone share a horoscope that's just ridiculously generic, and it's like I'm a Gemini. I hate being lied to. I like money. I like yeah, you and everyone else on the planet.
I find it funny when they're really, really specific, dude. They're like, your father stole $20 from you on your 18th birthday, and now you've never given him, and that's the reason why you have commitment issues.
I mean, I could. Best, dude. I don't even know where I would go to read. But let me see what my horoscope is for today, and I'll tell you how accurate it is. Let's do this here. Capricorn horoscope. Today's the 18th that we're recording this. Let's see. Here we go. Horoscope.com. This is straight from the horoscope's mouth, not horses. Haha. Let's see here. The fuck is this? No, it doesn't even say anything. What a fucking ripoff. What the hell?
So I'm on astrology.com. Mine for Virgo says, you've been working yourself to the bone, Virgo. Mm-hmm. The universe arrives with a new set of plans for you to focus on today as the sun moves forward in your opposite sign of dreamy Pisces. The weeks ahead of you find you investing your energy in your close personal relationships as you begin to express their needs, explore your partner's needs, or attract new opportunities to your doorstep. See, like I feel like that's one of those ones that's like really general. So yeah, it could apply. I mean, I have been working really hard, but like I don't think there's a single person that doesn't think that they're working themselves to the bone. You know what I mean? So it's like that applies to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing anything, you're probably, unless you're just a piece of shit.
You're very self-aware if you're like, nah, man, I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, I found mine. Over the last month, you've been closely tending to your resources, Capricorn. It's been important for you to ruminate over your skills and embrace a new approach to handling your finances. Today brings an important shift away from this energy as the sun moves forward into poetic Pisces. The month ahead focuses on education, communication, and addressing your mental health. Okay.
See, that's something that can apply. That's something good for everybody.
Yeah, what kind of fuckwit it isn't hard to figure out that spring quarter is coming or spring semester is coming around for every college. Like, come on, like addressing your mental health.
And they're saying about the finance too. It's like this is tax season, man. Like you do your tax return. If you're struggling financially, or I mean, not even struggling financially. If you're just on your shit, you probably do your taxes right away. So like most people have gotten their W-2s by now. So yeah, your tax return is probably on the way for like the common person that would be like checking horoscopes daily.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, dude, there are people that are you think we're going to get a third stimulus check?
I think so, man. I think I thought I read that Biden was already going to sign in. They were just planning on getting them sent out by the end of March or so, like the last couple weeks into March.
Well, Biden has to do other things like sign weapons deals with the South, with Pakistan, and
hell yeah, I got to do that too, man. So like, I don't blame him.
He did that. What was the bill that they introduced into Congress today? Oh, they introduced a bill saying that a president who's had articles of impeachment brought against him more than once cannot be buried in Arlington National Cemetery. Just the pettiest thing.
That's hilarious, dude. We're spending tax money on this because like we're paying for Congress.
We're paying for it, shit. And it's like, you know, it'd be kind of funny if you didn't have record amounts of people out of work right now. Like, you know what I mean?
It's funny. I mean, you know, we're saying this like talking shit on it, but then there's like people like my mom out there that like would literally kill Trump if she had the opportunity to. That are like, yeah, we shouldn't be spending tax money on this. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a guy reported, and he went viral on one of those Biden voters posting their L's Twitter accounts. This guy was like, I think we shared it on our page too. This guy was talking about like, it was like an argument about gun control, and someone was, and I don't argue with people on the internet. I'll forfeit or put this out in the forefront. If like, I'll say my point, and if you come at me, I'm just going to verbally abuse you and walk away because it's a waste of my time. I don't
tell them that
care.
Their kids aren't theirs.
Yeah, I'll tell them that your children aren't yours or that you're an ugly bitch or whatever, right? Because it's literally, I don't think it's a productive use of my time. I used to argue with people a lot on the internet. I don't fucking care anymore. Like, I'll just be an asshole to you and leave it alone. So
that's a sign of somebody who's maturing because you have like your own issues to deal with.
Yes.
I love arguing with people on the internet, but I think that's because I don't enjoy arguing with like the people around me. So I love doing it though. Yeah.
I don't like to argue that much. Like if someone sets themselves up to be dunked on, then sure. But 99% of or 95% of the time, you're not going to be convinced. I'm not going to be convinced. Everyone reading it has already chosen what side they're on, and they're just hoping someone's going to get the best gotcha moment. So it's a waste of my time. I don't fucking care. Like
my favorite way to do it is like kind of like what me and Ben Webb were doing, where we were like having a respectable discussion and admit like
I didn't
taking
even see that.
It was so fucking stupid, dude. We were talking about like wrestling, and it's like, but I love Ben, and like we're not gonna sit there and call each other fuckface and stuff.
Right. Well, no. So this guy came at me, because I said something because Biden introduced something about gun control, or he asked Congress to do it. This stuttering fucking moron didn't write the shit himself. It was somebody else. But the Biden administration asked Congress to enact an assault weapons ban, and I was like, wow, they just guaranteed they lose the House and Senate in 2 years or in a year. And this guy comes at me, you can't tell me why any American needs an AR-15. So I said, and you can't tell me why any American or why any grown man needs to act like a pussy bleeding little cunt. Yet here you are, bitch. And then I just ignored him. And so that spiraled into a bunch of people attacking him and arguing with him. And he, somewhere along the line, someone was like, I was trying to shut the notifications off because they wouldn't stop coming. And someone's like, you think Trump's this fascist, but you want the government to have a monopoly on guns? Like, you can't, like, power changes hands every 2 to 4 years, dude. Like, you're not going to have your guy in office in a couple of years.
I had this discussion with a guy because like I share your sentiment when it comes to like guns control and everything. Any gun control is like pretty stupid in my opinion. But like I was talking with this guy who's like a cop in Council Bluffs, and he was telling me a story about how like something crazy happened on like a traffic stop, and like he was like, yeah, I was almost worried that I would have to grab the AR from the trunk of like his squad car. But I was thinking in my head, like, dude, why does a cop need like why do cops need AR-15s?
Yeah. You know why? There's actually a reason.
Why is that?
Do you remember? I don't remember the name of it. I'm gonna look it up real quick. It was the Los Angeles shootout or something like that. Let me see here. Shootout, LA. It's the North Hollywood shootout. It was in the 90s. It was these two guys went and robbed a bank, and they were already jacked. Like, they were both like bodybuilders. They met at a gym, right? And they were roided up, and they put on like hardcore body armor and like absurd amounts. Like, they couldn't move very fast, but they went into this bank with AKs and robbed it. And they just walked out and just started mowing cops down because all the cops had were handguns and shotguns, and they couldn't pierce the armor. So they started giving, crazy. Some of them started getting ARs, and not all, but some of them started getting ARs in their trucks.
That's dumb because ARs, like 5.56 doesn't have good armor penetration.
Yeah.
Like, so AR, the 5.56 round is like designed for soft skin targets. So it's like, the round goes in and it tumbles around in there, but like with armor, it doesn't have a lot of stopping power. So like it literally like any of the, they'd see it like in Iraq and stuff. Any of the insurgents that were actually had like body armor and vests and stuff. Like it takes like 6-7 rounds to actually bring a dude down, and it's
but as compared to a handgun where it's going to take 100, like
you would think that. This goes to that like. The one gun control argument is like, they meant muskets. Like, just carry, the cops can carry muskets, man. Those have a lot that can penetrate armor.
Well, so
that just seems kind of weird to me. It's like if they're ever in an engagement like that, and also like that argument could be used for people to have them. And there's plenty of instances where like somebody wouldn't have died in like a home invasion or something that you could find where
there's a lot of them. Yeah. It's like,
exactly.
If you get I mean, yeah, a handgun or a shotgun's great if you get the one guy, but if there's multiple home invaders and they're shooting at you, you're going to need more than 10 rounds, even if they're
And
armed with knives.
Mostly because when you are, you got a lot of adrenaline going, you tend to just miss a lot of rounds.
Yeah, that's what people think. They're like, oh, if you need more than 5 rounds, I'm like, dude, you've never been in a situation where you've had to shoot at something like.
Yeah, okay,
I knew a
Clint
guy.
Eastwood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people. These are the same people that say, "Oh, why don't the cops just shoot him in the leg?" Shit like that, right? Like, I knew someone that was an ATF, or it was a relative of a friend, was an ATF agent. So I hate this guy, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. He was undercover and got in a shootout in the same vehicle as the guy he was undercover on. Same fucking car. He was in the passenger seat. Guy was in the driver's seat. It was like both of them reloaded once and only one round hit each of them. Like where one guy got hit twice, and it was like over 40, 50 rounds and only 1 or 2. And that's from right next to each other. If you're in a shootout, you need more than 5 rounds. These are the fucking idiots. These idiots shouldn't have any say on any type of policy out there. Like if you have no idea what you're talking about, just shut the fuck up. It's okay. You don't have to have an opinion on everything, but you're going to need, unless you're hunting, you're going to need more than 5 rounds in a home defense situation. You're probably going to need more than 10. Like, that's just how it works.
I had a friend in Omaha that was a pretty vocal anti-gun person. And then
everyone's anti-gun until they get robbed.
Well, they didn't get robbed, but they literally had like a mental asylum patient type guy break into their house
while they were there.
While they were there at nighttime, like he was running from the police. And it's like, so after that, I don't see her too much talk about.
Holy shit. Yeah,
I don't see him talk too much about.
He probably bought 1 or 2 or 10.
I mean, dude, if they did, like, good on them. Like, you know what I mean? If you got a family and everything like that, I mean, I don't know. It makes me sleep better.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, and you got a kid, so obviously to have it under lock and key and stuff like that. But I mean, it definitely, there's something about knowing that your safety is in your own hands and not the police's hands, not the deadbolt on your door, knowing that you directly can neutralize a threat that's come to hurt you and your family, especially if you're.
It doesn't even need to be a person, man. It could literally like escape dogs. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like a rabid animal. Like you could. We've done it before where I've killed rabid animals in our front yard. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm not in danger, but my dog, my cats and the dog that lived outside.
You grew up in the country. I forgot.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, so.
Oh, no, I mean, I've been attacked by a dog. I carry a handgun on my walks when I take my dog. Because there was a pit bull that attacked some dog at a dog park and almost killed it. Here's my thing. My dog's old. She's not going to win a fight against a pit bull. If your dog if your dog gets off the leash and attacks my dog, jumps the fence and attacks my dog, I'm going to kill your dog in front of you. I'm going to scar you for life, and I'm not going to go to jail because Nebraska has laws to protect ranchers that say if your animal's in danger, you can kill someone or something to protect it.
And I live in Texas, man. Like Texas,
nobody cares.
Texas is like the epitome of it. Dude, that somebody could be threatening your fucking rocks in your front yard, and you could.
Yeah. So that's like except
at least
snow.
Have something to steal. At least have something to stand. Oh my god,
you guys can't shoot the snow,
bro. We got to talk about
power?
This. No, so I guess El Paso's power grid is separate from a lot of East Texas. Yeah. So we're fine. We never really had any blackouts or anything, but I mean,
nice.
we got like 5 inches of snow, which is a lot for El Paso.
Doesn't Texas get snow every year though? But just not that much.
Every once in a while, we'll get like a half inch. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing too crazy. So, but 5 inches is like a lot for El Paso.
Oh, that's yeah. I mean, that's a lot here.
Like, I was worried about it sticking to the ground because the city of El Paso literally has no snow removal services for the city. At all. They would have had to probably get snow removal trucks from Ruidoso, New Mexico, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Yeah, dude. Like we would have been kind of fucked. Plus, like the houses here just aren't built for snow. You know what I mean? We're in a fucking desert that. gets up to 100. The worst thing we're worried about is it getting up to 115 in the day and like that killing power. Like,
Yeah.
Who I felt really bad for in our area was just across the border, man. There's like a, like Juarez is right by here in El Paso, but then there's like a little tiny like town outside of Juarez on the highway, and this is like, dude, like people live in fucking like shacks type shit. Like, it's bad there. Those people got snowed on too, man. Like, they don't even have like windows and
Holy
walls.
Shit.
Yeah, they live under like, well, they're fucking sucking, man. Like, I feel bad for those guys. Like,
I mean, there were roving blackouts here too. Like, we had it bad too. But we don't have as much of an excuse as you guys do. I'm like, dude, like, yeah, I get it was cold. It was a little bit worse than it normally is. You guys got hit
by way more snow and way colder temperatures, though. Like, dude, -20 for Omaha is fucking ridiculous.
No, it is, but our grid should be prepared for that. Like, we shouldn't be picking. Yeah, I think because we're in the Midwest, we should be prepared because we do get some really cold days every year. It's just, but
yeah. Isn't it really? I'd have to ask somebody who's like lives in Canada or something where like -20 is like
Minnesota.
Yeah, something like that is regular for their winters.
Yeah,
like how expensive is it to maintain a power grid that can withstand that kind of temperature? You know what I mean?
Well,
like
part of the issue here is you have two power companies. You have OPPD for the Omaha Metro and NPPD for Lincoln and everywhere else, pretty much.
What, as in Black Hills Energy?
And Black Hills, they do, what do they do?
They do like Papillion, right? And
yeah, like it's like, yeah, they do. Yeah, oh yeah, Papillion and Ralston are Black Hills Energy. It's a really small. But so these companies are public entities. But the state government has no oversight on how they spend their money. They have no right to audit them, nothing. So these companies get a blank check and they can do what they want with it. So it came out last year, NPPD bought a private jet for $10 million and was flying it all over the place. Why does a power company need a private jet? Like, isn't that counterproductive, if anything, an energy company?
They don't need anything. Why are they? They're a power company in Nebraska.
Yeah, they use the excuse that they needed it to fly to their meetings.
Oh, really?
I'm like, really? You guys like? Why are power company meetings not held over fucking Zoom? I don't feel it's something that needs to be done in person. If you're all about conserving energy, why even drive? You know, like. Do it from your computer at home.
This is the owning the libertarian tard, guys. But well, I mean, El Paso's power is entirely like a public utility.
So is Nebraska,
yeah. It's not. There's no private companies that do it. It's just the El Paso Power Company.
Yeah,
like it's an entire like public entity. Like
yeah.
So
fortunately.
Which means I'm pretty sure that what their budget or like what they spend it on is directed by like their city council and stuff.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, because they were just picking whose power was going to get shut off every couple hours and then just turn it back on. Fortunately, we live between 108th and 120th Street, which is all on the same grid. So does the mayor. So there was zero chance we were losing any power. And I was like,
shitty, man. And like, fucking, of course, Gene Stothart's not going to fucking
exactly
take her fucking couple hours of no power.
Honestly, her neighborhood probably sucks up more power than anyone else in the city. But Mia was like,
she's probably got an Alexa in every one of her bathrooms. That's constantly running.
Mia was like, do you think we're going to lose power? I'm like, no, we're on the same power block as the mayor. Like, if we lose power, I'm going to go buy a fucking lottery ticket. Like, we're not losing power. I guarantee it. Every other block in this city will lose power before we do.
That's so crazy, dude. Omaha seriously is like, if you want to find like modern examples of like local government corruption, like a fucking cowboy movie, dude, like literally just go look at Omaha over the last like 50 years, pretty much over the entire existence of Omaha.
I feel like every city has its sleeping dogs. Well, have we talked about it on the show before about Omaha's history?
No, we haven't. We should.
So we had this mayor. His name was a Cowboy Jim Dahlman. He was a fugitive fleeing murder charges in Texas. He was elected to 10 consecutive terms as mayor.
Yeah, he basically ran the city like some kind of old
fucking
Western
mob
movie
boss.
where the governor is the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he ran it like a casino.
He would literally like pay people to go kill his political dissidents and
yeah,
stuff.
It was what was it? It was the political boss system. What was the boss's name? Let me see here. Shit, because you had Cowboy Jim Dahlman and then you had Tom Dennison. So there was actually here's the thing. In when Cowboy Jim Dahlman lost his race, this Tom Dennison guy invoked a race riot. Yeah, 1919. So at
this is like 150 years ago.
In the early 1900s, there were more. In 1919, when this happened, there were actually more black people in Omaha than any other city in the country, density or population density wise. So this guy Jim Dahlman lost his election, and this Tom Dennison guy goes out and stages incites a race riot because somebody got lynched, and he just blew it up all over. Took the riot to city hall. I mean, it was insane. It was fucking. I got the Wikipedia, which we know is the all-knowing source. It says by 5 p.m. a mob of 5,050 or between 5 and 15,000 people had crowded into the street on the south side of the Douglas County Courthouse. They began to assault police officers, pushing one through a glass window and attacking two others who wielded clubs at the mob. They deployed fire hoses.
What year was that? Did you say it was 1911?
1919. Crowd took guns, badges, and hats from cops.
That's hilarious. They took their hats. They were probably like wearing their hats in the fucking crowd and stuff.
So here's what it says. Let's see. This is the background. 3 weeks before the riot, federal investigators had noted that a clash was imminent, owing to the ill feeling between white and black workers in the stockyards. The number of African Americans doubled during the decade as they were recruited to work in the meatpacking industry.
Yeah, so something you should know about Omaha history is that the entire city, like in its early days, was entirely basically based around the rail system because Omaha was the center of the Transatlantic Railroad. So and then also all the cattle drives, basically all the cattle from like the ranches here, Oklahoma, Texas and stuff, went up to Omaha, and then all the beef got shipped over to the rest of the country.
Yep.
So
it says
little
fun fact there. Number of African Americans doubled. It doubled in Omaha during the decade as they were recruited to work in meatpacking plants. In 1910, Omaha had the third largest black population. Let's see, following Reconstruction.
I didn't know that about the black population, though, man. That's pretty cool.
More than doubled. As far as per capita, we were number one, though, because it more than doubled to over 10,000, second only to Los Angeles.
But we had the third in the entire country, just like raw number, though.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool, man.
Post-Reconstruction, yeah. The major meatpacking plants hired blacks as strikebreakers in 1917. South Omaha's working-class whites showed great hostility toward black strikebreakers. By this time, the ethnic Irish, the largest and earliest group of immigrants, had established their power base in the city. Several years later, following the death of an Irish policeman, ethnic Irish had led a mob in an attack on Greektown, driving the Greek community from Omaha. All 12 of them. There aren't a lot of Greeks here, though. There really aren't in Omaha. So the city's criminal establishment, led by Tom Dennison and teamed with the Omaha Businessmen's Association, created a formidable challenge for the moralistic administration of the first-term reform mayor Edward Parsons Smith, with little support from the city council or the labor union. Smith warily worked through his reform agenda. Following strikes throughout the previous year, 2 detectives in the OPD Moral Squad shot and killed an African-American bellhop on September 11th. What a great day. Sensation, September 11th. I know.
That's crazy that this is like literally just a couple of hairs.
This is 100 years ago.
Than 100 years ago.
This is a person or two ago, like a person and a half ago. Sensationalized local media reports the alleged rape of 19-year-old Agnes Lobeck on September 25th, 1919, triggered the violence associated with Will Brown's lynching. The following day, police arrested 41-year-old Will Brown as a suspect. Lobeck identified Brown as her rapist. However, during questioning, Brown stated that Lobeck did not make positive identification, which Lobot later refuted. There was an unsuccessful attempt to lynch Brown on the day of his arrest. The Omaha Bee, which published a series of sensational articles about many incidents of black crimes, publicized the incident as one of a series of attacks on white women by black men, a political machine opposed to the newly elected reform administration of Mayor Smith. It highlighted the alleged incidents of black criminality to embarrass the new administration. So, yeah, I mean, this Dennison guy pulled strings in the media to sensationalize this and just started huge tensions between, you know, the Irish and the black people. And it just turned into a fucking riot. So this dude started a riot because it kind of like Trump, like on a smaller scale.
I think what's important about that is like people shouldn't think that kind of stuff doesn't happen now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's not some crazy fucking dude who's like pulling the strings at like the New York Times or some shit. You know what I mean?
So sensation. No, it's media sensationalism that leads to violence. Like it happens all the time now. CNN.
You know who I actually think, who I think is a big contributor to that is I'm gonna sound like Trump, but like literally the Chinese government.
Oh, huge.
Because like a lot of the huge national news, even like Fox, like ABC, all their parent companies that all own those have really huge financial backers from Chinese companies, which, you know, Chinese companies are the Chinese government because the Chinese government owns those companies. Yeah. So it's like they can't financially afford to not run like these crazy propaganda pieces that I think they get told to run by like some, you know, Chinese companies are probably like, hey, if you don't run these stories, we're not going to support you. And they're just like, well, they've literally like found the kryptonite of like America. It's like money, and they like use it against us.
Yeah, no shit. I could have told you that. No, like on the Capitol riot thing, like I really wish people would stop being so extreme about it. Like, yeah, it was bad, but like to see people compare it to 9/11 and to see like Schwarzenegger come out and say it was no better, it was just as bad as Crystal knocked. I'm like, dude, fucking listen to yourself. You're comparing it to the Holocaust. Like, yeah, someone died.
Literally just
you had a cop. You had a cop get hit in the head. He had a brain aneurysm and died. That's terrible. I don't disagree with you. Some lady got shot in the face. Terrible. Don't disagree.
Some guy tased himself in the balls till he died.
That's kind of funny. That's not terrible. That's pretty hilarious. Funny. But to compare it to the day that the Nazis went around and torched synagogues and ripped Jewish people from their homes, give me a fucking break. That's why I can't take people like that seriously. Like the second you compare anything to 9/11 or the Holocaust, I'm going to laugh at you. It's just like Poe's law about the Hitler?
Yeah, like, or if you equate anything, and if in an argument something is equated to either Hitler or the Nazi Party, they've like lost the argument because it's like they're just being dumb.
Speaking of which, what do you think of the Gina Carano chick from Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh man, I have pretty strong opinions on this because it's like, dude, she didn't even say anything that was like that crazy.
It wasn't.
All she literally did was explain what Kristallnacht was, which was literally the Nazi government riling up the German people enough to where they basically did a riot.
And and she said that being a conservative in 2021 is like being a Jew in the 40s in Germany, which, okay, a little extreme of a comparison, but it's not much worse than Schwarzenegger comparing the Capitol shit to Kristallnacht.
I think that she should have said more of like being in the 30s because the Germans didn't actually start rounding up the Jewish people and
until the 40s,
until the 40s, right? In the 30s, they literally just like they had to wear the bands and like I mean they were still being persecuted, but like they weren't being sent into death camps. Like Republicans aren't being fucking sent into death camps.
No.
But I mean, like, or even just, I'm not even gonna say Republicans because that's dumb. But like, I think it's conservative, like people with conservative opinions by like the mob media. But like the thing is, though, is like the mob media for one is the entire world populated. Like everybody's on Twitter. Fucking the UK is on Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately,
I mean, you go into like these crazy, like a lot of the stuff that people cite is like the crazy racist stuff on the internet. A lot of that shit's being done by people in fucking Brazil and like South America and stuff. Man. You see that all the time on Facebook. Is like you see some dude posting some stinky shit like against like George Floyd or something, you know, like, and then you go and look at the guy's profile and it's like he's from Sao Paulo, fucking, you know, Brazil. And it's like, dude.
Yeah, it's people in like South. Yeah, that's a good point. But like, was what she said a little over the top? Sure, but
a little bit, but yeah, I don't think she
it's not anti-fucking Semitic. If that's anti-Semitic, then so is calling Trump Hitler for the last 4 years. Like, you know, we toppled a dictator. Trump was like Hitler. Oh, you should have just told the Jewish people to get out and vote then. Like, you know, why did we fight World War II? The Jews just could have gotten out and voted. Like,
I guess we lost World War II because he's, you know, came back 60 years later and became our president. We literally took that L, dude. We lost. It's Hitler. It's World War II too.
It was a lot more peaceful of an ending. We just had to vote Hitler out this time. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it's over the top. Like, there was something else. She didn't put her pronouns in her bio. So what, does everyone that doesn't put their pronouns in their bio deserve to be fired now? No. Like, fuck you. My pronouns are go fuck / yourself. Like, it's ridiculous. These are the same, the white people that get mad if you don't say Latinx. Mm-hmm. Now they're saying Filipinx. I saw the other day.
They probably don't spell it with the F though. You know what I mean? Like, because Filipino is like that. Filipino like that is supposed to be with an F.
Because everyone that says Latinx is whiter than me. Like, I saw someone the other day saying Italian X. I'm like, now hold up, I get a say in this one.
There's no gentrification of that in the American version.
Yeah, if you're describing someone in Italian as Italian, it'd be Italiano or Italiana.
Yeah, but I'm like, hold up, romance language. But when you're saying it in English, though, you don't say Italiano, you just say Italian.
Yeah, no, they're saying Italian X. I'm like, hold on now. I get a say in this one, motherfuckers, and you're not gonna win.
You know what I think the Latinx thing is?
We prefer WAP, Guinea, or Dago, not Italian X. Get that shit out of here. Those are all acceptable.
What I think the Latinx thing is I think it's not actually people saying it, because the only people I hear say that are people on YouTube, which are basically personified companies.
Yeah,
they're just personified brands.
Yeah.
On YouTube, that's all they are. And companies on social media, and then when companies post that on social media, they immediately get a ton of people on there, mostly Latinos, going on there and telling them that they're fucking stupid for trying to whitewash their language and their terms. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally whitewashing.
I had a tweet get a bunch of shares a couple months ago that said I used the word Latinx in front of my girlfriend's Mexican mother, and she just asked me not to see her daughter anymore.
It's like, dude, if you want to talk about like educating yourself and stuff, like, just learn that in the Spanish language, it's Latino for a mixed group. Of genders, or male, and then Latina,
which is just I mean,
how hard is that to learn?
English is the same way. If you got a group of 2 guys and 10 girls, you say, guys, come here. You don't say girls, come here. If you got a group of 10 girls, no guys, it's girls, come here. Group of 10 guys, 10 guys, come here. But if there's one male, it becomes the dominant. And I think that's what a lot of people hate, is because it's a patriarchal language. I think that's what a lot of it boils down to, is you've got a male dominant language in Spanish and Italian and stuff like that.
Try to fix that instead of trying to get more women into trade jobs, dude. Like, that's where you should focus here. You know what I mean?
That's right. It's instead of ending the war on, it's just like, instead of ending the war on drugs or defunding private prisons, we remove the Aunt Jemima logo. Like,
I think I'm glad that they did that. Like, I am, because it's like the Aunt Jemima thing, and what was the other one? The Uncle Ben's, like, rice. Like, those
there was that, and then there was a Native American one. I don't remember.
He had Land O'Lakes. Like, those are literally like racist caricatures of somebody. Like, imagine if
the Aunt Jemima family's pretty pissed about it, though. It's because they're not getting the royalties.
Yeah, exactly, right. But like, I mean, I think it's just companies just shouldn't rely on that kind of stuff for making money. You know what I mean? It's like,
was Land O'Lakes racist though, or was it just a girl, like an Indian girl?
I mean, it was an Indian girl, but it's like, you get a picture. You know, you get like a thing of like an Indian girl looking like that, and that's what everybody thinks every Native American is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just dumb. Like I'm not angry that they got rid of it, and I think they probably should have got rid of it a long time ago. It's like it's like why are you like defending it, dude? It's like a shitty food company that's literally like profiting off of like it's just like a shitty food company that's just profiting off of like the image of like a group of people. Like it's not like they're giving part of their profits to like Native American tribes. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a company ran by Native American people. It's a bunch of fucking white people in business suits making $10 billion a year. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They don't. Yeah, it's like you shouldn't. I don't know why people are like defending these fucking companies. It's like they should have got rid of that shit a long time ago.
No. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. That's
don't.
my opinion.
Did you see the Facebook post? Some guy was like, "She lives on in my house," and he was filling up an old bottle of Aunt Jemima with a new bottle of Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, the Aunt Jemima thing is literally like a house slave like caricature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
no, it definitely was.
Yeah, it's like you. I don't know if did they get rid of it for Mrs. Buttersworth too? I always thought Mrs. Buttersworth was a white lady on that.
Yeah,
on the
Mrs.
bottle.
Butterworth was a white lady.
Yeah. Did they get rid of her though? Did they say that's sexist to have a bottle be shaped like a lady? Like,
no, I don't think so. But honestly, man, like you want to talk about racist stereotypes, so is Chef Boyardee. I ain't bitching about it. Like I don't fucking care.
Here's my thing is like I don't know, nobody ever associated Chef Boyardee with being a dumb, stupid house slave, you know what I mean? He's just a fat Italian guy.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is the fat Italians, all they're good for is cooking or being a mobster. Like that's kind of the old stereotype. Like there were like Italians, like my grandma was an Italian, first generation Italian in the US, and she'll tell you, like in the 30s and 40s, she'll tell you like we weren't treated, she straight up says we weren't treated worse than black people, but we weren't treated much better. Like
yeah, I mean, I know that
public types. Yeah,
I can say that for Germans people, man. They literally the German Americans got fucking basically the Arab treatment, and instead of everyone,
that was kind of because of the whole genocide thing.
No, it started in World War I, man. And like,
oh really?
The Prussian government wasn't like, the Prussians weren't evil. It was literally just two warring nations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they literally got fucking bullied out of everything that made German Americans like their own, like their own people. So that's why you don't ever see German Americans, like the largest ethnic group in the United States. None of them speak German. Like they don't know how to, they're entirely Americanized, basically. Like, so it's like, I don't know, man. I think the people that are critics of like them getting rid of Aunt Jemima, right? And then they would tell you like, well, if you're bothered by the Chef Boyardee thing, you should bring it up. You should get Chef Boyardee to get rid of those pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or get rid of those depictions. But it's like, I think the Chef Boyardee
I really don't care, honestly.
Is it actually like the guy? You know what I mean?
It might be. I mean, Aunt Jemima was a real person.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just like, it's like a matter of like empathy. It's like, dude, like, yeah, you might not care about the Chef Boyardee thing, but like there was actually a lot of people that like had problems with like Uncle Ben, or like, those things being like these coon images being sold, mass marketed to people.
We went to a diner here in town, and I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't want a bunch of fucking retards to go harass them, because I really don't care. But we were sitting there and we were looking through the menu, and there was an item on the menu called the Conquistador omelet. And my girlfriend, she's Mexican, but she's Native American. And she was looking at it. I'm like, you know who the conquistadors were, right? Like, you know what they did. She's like, yeah,
they were bad.
I'm like, that would be the equivalent of like, if like, because like my Jewish friend, I'm like, I brought him up. I'll be like, that would like be the equivalent if we brought Jordan in here and they had an SS omelet. Like that, like literally, like the conquistadors were brutal. I'm like, the fact that that's on the menu
were really bad. Yeah.
And then she just kind of like shrugged it off. She's like, actually, it kind of looks good. Like there's just different types of people. Like not everyone gets offended by everything, So it's
what's even more fucked up than that is down here in El Paso, there's literally conquistador statues. Like there's a big statue of a conquistador in front of the airport here, and it's like everybody here is like Mexican, and then there's a lot of people that are like Mexican but like native type like the brown Mexicans.
That's a lot of how like a lot of Mexican people, not all, but a lot of Latino people were born because the conquistadors came and raped the Native American women. Like that's like a lot of
That's what that fucking shitty joke from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where they're like, no, the Aztecs became the Mexicans. It's like the Spaniards came and banged the Aztecs and turned them into Mexicans.
Yeah, no, that's literally what happened though. Like,
yeah, that is kind of what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, the Spanish were pretty brutal, man.
There's an Immortal Technique song about it.
It's like I don't know, man. Like can like, yes, it might seem a little ridiculous for like people to have like for somebody that it like doesn't affect, but it's like, can you really blame people for like not liking that shit when it's like, if you're like a Mexican person and you get like you're annoyed by seeing conquistador shit, it's like that's literally like it's like basically like somebody celebrating like people that fucked you up, fucked your people up.
I don't have as much of a problem with that because I can understand like why Native American people were upset about the Redskins name, for instance, because that's basically that'd be like if they were the Washington N-words, like it's the same.
Yeah, or they're like the Washington Coons.
My issue is more so with corporate wokeism and these woke white people that pretend to be upset about these things they didn't know existed 3 weeks ago. That's where my issue comes. I'm like, this is virtue signaling for you. This is an attempt to play God to minorities and to try to get power. That's what that is.
For me, the regular person that's on Twitter is a person still, you know what I mean? But like the official Wendy's page is some fucking corporate entity that's just trying to make money. It's like, dude, anytime they say some shit like that, like it goes back to Latinx thing. Like they don't really care about that shit. They're just trying to make money off of you and not try to get canceled.
Dave Smith had a great point about it. I think he was on Rogan. It was about how, these companies, like, they have no problem endorsing the corporate wokeism. They don't want like a Bernie Sanders type woke that's going to start taxing them and hit them in the pocketbook. But I mean, by all means, they'll send their employees to diversity training. They'll take down the Native American logo and replace it with a lion. That doesn't hurt them at all.
What the best example of it is a really good example of this last year. And Blizzard Activision is a company that makes like a lot of big games, right?
Yeah.
They got into beef because they were trying to silence people on their platforms and stuff for calling out against the Hong Kong stuff, right?
Yeah.
The Chinese.
Them and the NBA. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is like the Chinese government, like they've invested a lot of money into Blizzard, right? But there's literally a statue in front of the Blizzard headquarters in California that says, no, it's literally says on there, something. It's like the 7 tenets of like Blizzard or some shit. It was some bullshit because like one of them is like, we don't silence the voices of people or some shit like that.
It hurts our money.
Yeah, literally, unless it's the Chinese backed or like our Chinese government investments that are like going to pull the plug on it, and so
it's corporate greed. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been. I guess Disney really just wanted to silence a woman of color.
Disney doesn't want to lose out on those Chinese markets, man. It's literally the biggest growing market in the world. That's why every company now like basically bends the knee to the Chinese government like they do.
For now, I don't think China will last. I really don't. But that's a discussion for another time. We've already done an hour. I've still got to eat. So I've got to make pizza because that's what my people, that's all we're good for.
My people. Hey man, you gotta represent that Polish side too. So you gotta put some like sausages on there.
I hate Polish sausage is disgusting. No thank you.
I like Polish dogs.
Sauerkraut, none of that shit. No. Oh no, sauerkraut's German. But yeah, Polish sausage. Jesus, I can't even get it out. I'm good. I think I have some French in me. French fries are cool. So.
Okay.
My air fryer. Right. I have an air fryer and I'm on Clubhouse. I am so much better than all of you guys.
That air fryer superiority.
Air fryer and glass Tupperware. All right, we got to get going. Peace out,
everybody. Thank you.